Welcome to this Java tutorial by Johnson Mercy. I hope you enjoy it. What up guys? Welcome, it's Johnson Mercy to my fourth Java database connectivity tutorial. In the previous tutorial, I did something in the utility class about the validation method to validate our fields. Okay, but I purposely did not want to implement it so that I can do that at the right time. Okay, the summary of it is that if the first name field is containing nothing, this error message is thrown. Please provide your first name. The same thing goes here, and all of them. Okay, so once it is not filled, it will keep on returning false until everything is okay. Then true can be returned now. So I'll go into my database and start creating some method that would help us do some database job in our programming. Okay, now we'll start with creating our connections. Then creating a connection, there I will show you some kind of configuration that you need to do, creating your data source that will refer to a particular database that you want to work with. Okay, now let's first of all start by creating our connection method. Now say public static connection get connection. Okay, this is going to return connection object. Okay, so but then let's first of all load the driver. So before you create a connection, you have to first of all load the driver through this method class dot for name. What's the problem? Okay, class dot for name. Instead of the string, you pass this as the URL string dot jdbc dot odbc dot jdbc odbc driver. Okay, but then it's requesting that we put this into a try and catch statement, try and catch block, sorry. Okay, now put that into try and catch. So instead of bothering myself trying to catch particular exception, I just go ahead, catch the parent class, and everything has been called. Okay, now the red line is off, but this wavy red line here is as result of course you can see that it should return a connection object, but there's a missing return statement, but I'll take care of that later. Okay, now I've loaded the driver, then it's left for us now to establish connection. So we'll say connection con equals to driver manager dot get connection. Okay, I am gonna do my importation here, java.sql.connection. Yes, it is right. So everything is done here, but then something needs to be done. A URL, I need to pass the URL here, and the URL consists of three things. First of all, your data source name, your username, and your password. Okay, now the data source name is something we have not created for the first time. Okay, but remember that before you can be able to log into your database SQL server, you need a username and password. So by default it's normally SA, then you can choose a password. Okay, now I'll just go straight to creating the data source name. First of all, you launch your control panel. When it comes up, then system is a little bit of hanging. Okay, now when it comes up, you click on administrative tools, click on data source ODBC. This is the most important because you have to refer to a database, and this is the best way to do it. Okay, you click on add, and it's gonna kind of ask you what kind of database you want to work with. I want to work with my SQL server here, so I click on SQL server and click on finish, and it brings out where I can add the name of my data source the way I want it. So here I'm going to say the name is, let me just use data. All right, this is not important, but the most important here is the name and the server. Now you might be wondering what the server is. The server is the name of your system. So you can get the name of your system by going to your start, click on your start button, right click the computer, properties. So when you right click and get to the property, this here, computer name, is the name of your computer. I can simply write this, but if you don't want to make any mistake, just click on change settings. Then you can highlight it here. Highlight, Ctrl C, then you copy, and you're good to go. So you paste it here, Johnson Mercy I. That's my computer name. Okay, so you click next. Here it says with Windows NT authentication using the network login ID or blah blah blah, but no, that's not the one I want to use. The one I want to use is SQL authentication. Windows authentication, so far you are already logged in to your system. You can just go without password or username, but that's not the type I need. I need a very strong authentication, which is the SQL authentication here. So the login ID is SA. The password, I have my password. So you should try remembering your password, the one you use in logging into your SQL database. Okay, I'm done here. I click on next. Okay, now here it's asking me the database I want to use. I will select this. I've already created my database, which is the EMP Reg system. So I select it. So each time I refer to this data source, it means that I want to refer to I want to do something on EMP Reg system database. So after doing this, I click on next. Of course, you wouldn't want to change it from English to another language, except if you're not from an English speaking country, maybe, I don't know. So I'll leave it at English language. I click on finish. So it says here test data source. You can click on this button to test. When it says test completed successfully, you know that you're good to go. You click OK, everything, and you are done. But please remember the name of your data source. Mine is data. Okay, making reference to SQL server, that is my database. Okay, so now we have successfully configured our data source. So I can now come back to write the URL Jdbc. Yeah, I think Jdbc ODBC, then data. This is the first part. Then the second part says username. The third part is your password. So there's a password here I'm using. Okay. Now I have successfully loaded my driver, and I've successfully established a connection. So what I will do here is just to say return con. That's all. No, I think it's not supposed to be inside the try and catch and the body of the method, and good to go. Oh, okay, maybe I should do this outside the try. Equals to null. Okay, then return this. Okay, I've successfully created the connection, and I've successfully also returned it. For any manipulation, database manipulation that I want to do, I can actually just avoid in my main class writing all of this code. All I just need to do is to get a connection object and accept the connection object. The get connection here is returning, and that's all. Okay, now I'm done with the connection object, and in my next tutorial I'm gonna create the insert method and the result set method. Insert for inserting data into my database, and result set for getting results from my database, especially when I query my database for some records. So thank you very much, and see you in my next tutorial. I am Johnson Mercy.